Another beautiful baseball night here in northern Atlanta. SunTrust Park should see a big crowd for Game 3 of our series. Last night, NYN Cespedes struck out a lot, but he provided a game-winning hit. And Freddie Freeman tries to get off the schneid tonight in Game 3 along with Dansby Swanson as the Braves meet yet again here in Atlanta. Hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson. Look who we found. Paul Bird's going to join us for the final 2 games of this weekend series. Great pitching matchup tonight. Julio Teheran goes for the Braves, Jacob deGrom for the Mets. And Paul, Julio can't pitch much better than he did last time out.
No, he's been outstanding, and I really feel like for this team to do what we hope they can do, Julio has to return and be that frontline ace he was early in his career. He's going to throw a couple different sliders at you, which has been the difference maker in the last 2 starts that he's had. He's been lights out, and that makes that fastball on the outside corner take off. Big matchup tonight with a packed house. I look for him to elevate his game and throw us another great start.
Well, it won't be easy. He's going to be matched up with a real good right-hander himself, Paul, Jacob deGrom. We know about him, and the freshly shorn Jacob deGrom. No more long hair for him, but he's got good stuff too. He will challenge you. He's very aggressive. He will compete. Good fastball, good slider, good changeup, and he's pitched well against the Braves. He's especially pitched well already here at SunTrust Park, where he's 2-0. 2-0 this year, and he's coming off a good start against Washington, where he had the lead when he left the ball game, but the bullpen couldn't hold it, or else he'd be 3-0 on the season. He's mighty tough.
Syndergaard and deGrom, a dynamic duo indeed for the New York Mets. Atlanta has one as well, Dansby Swanson and Ozzie Albies, who's hitting everything in sight. We will talk about an outstanding start to the month of April for Ozzie Albies as the Braves and Mets get set for Game 3 next.
April in the ATL. 3 teams over 30 days with the Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Hawks, and Atlanta United. Presented by Advance Auto Parts.
and welcome into another beautiful evening for Braves baseball as we get you all set for Game 3 versus the Mets. And the Braves off to an 11-8 start this season. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, but Freddie Freeman said one of the biggest ones that's factored into it is these young guys have heard so much about that next step. And if these young guys have taken the next steps, Ozzie Albies has taken a leap. He has been absolutely amazing so far this season. So we'll check out what he has done at the plate and with the glove with our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. You see his helmet flying off there. That is one of the categories he leads this league in. But this season, so far, he has 16 extra base hits. That not only leads this team, but it leads all of Major League Baseball. He added to that last night with the first inning home run off of Noah Syndergaard. Now that pitch that he hit the home run on was a 99.6 mile-per-hour fastball. That is the fastest pitch hit for a home run in MLB this season and the fastest by a Braves player in the StatCast era. And I was talking to him earlier today and I asked, did you have any idea when you hit that home run what you had just done? And he said it just felt like it exploded off the bat, and it definitely did that. He sent that 108.4 miles per hour out of this ballpark, and you know he's going to hope he can keep doing that this season. He's hitting .313. Ozzie Albies has been leading it with the Braves so far this year and really setting the tone, and he'll hopefully set the tone tonight as Julio Teheran takes the mound and he takes on Jacob deGrom. We have Chip Joe and Paul Bird in the booth tonight. We have Game 3. Mets and Braves is next.
The Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South is sponsored by your local Ford dealer, the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by always wearing your seatbelt.
Beautiful breezy night here atop Windy Hill Road in Atlanta as the Mets and Braves meet in Game 3 of 4 tonight here at SunTrust Park. Another big crowd has gathered on this glorious Saturday night. Braves and Mets drew 39,000 plus last night. Might be close to that number again tonight. as Atlanta tries to take the lead in the series 2-1 behind Julio Teheran, who's coming off a tremendous start last time out here on his home mound against the Philadelphia Phillies. And guys, we know how tough times have been for Julio pitching at SunTrust Park. Maybe he unlocked a secret or two that got him back in the win column on his home hill.
Yeah, I think so. And even his opening outing here at SunTrust Park wasn't that bad. There was a little bit of hiccup in the bullpen, but he has been lights out his last 2 starts. A big difference in that is his slider, throwing 2 different kinds of breaking ball. He's really concentrated on that, throwing the back leg curve to the lefties, and it's been very nice, very big. For this team to be the kind of team that they can be, he has to return to form as one of the top aces in the National League.
You are so right, Paul, and his 4 keys to pitching success echoes what you just said. His first key, both sliders, used both of his breaking balls tonight in different speeds, and also the pitcher, not just this pitcher. Jacob deGrom's a good hitter, so he's a tough out in the lineup. But the pitchers are killing the Atlanta Braves, especially in extra innings, and last night no different. When Gesellman was hit by a pitch, he eventually came around and scored the go-ahead run in the 12th inning.
In the first 19 games, opposing pitchers at the plate have 6 hits, including a home run. They've been walked 3 times. They have 3 RBIs and 1 hit batsman. So Atlanta needs to clean that up as they face Mickey Callaway's Mets here in Game 3. Yoenis Cespedes struck out 4 times last night, but had the go-ahead hit in extra innings. Asdrubal Cabrera had a big night. Bruce Frazier, Gonzalez, Lobaton, deGrom 8. Then Jose Reyes 0 for 20 to start the year. Gets the start in the 9-hole and playing shortstop. So Michael Conforto's going to get things started against Julio Teheran. 8-5 lifetime. Only Max Scherzer has a better career ERA against the Mets. Julio's mark there is .258 in 19 lifetime starts. So Michael Conforto at .209, a homer, 5 RBIs, and a lot of Mets fans have made the trek to SunTrust this weekend. And first pitch is lifted high in the air toward right center field. And the Mets fans are quiet as Conforto is out on the first pitch.
You know how in a road football game you could take some fans, they get stuck in the end zone in one little section. Look up there in the Coca-Cola Plaza, all those orange shirts. They're not quite in the end zone, but they're way out there.
Yeah, I think they call them the 7 Train Army, and they pick a road trip every year and come out in full force. So welcome to Atlanta. Hopefully you'll go home unhappy tonight. Here's Yoenis Cespedes. And a miss from Julio, 1 ball, no strikes. Cespedes 4 more strikeouts last night. That gives him 34 of them for the season. That's more than anybody else in the major leagues. And he thinks he's got an antidote, fellas. Golf.
Also leading the league in colorful armor.
Swing and a miss. Cespedes, a ball and 2 strikes. There's a lot of talk in New York that sometimes Cespedes played too much golf and that it affected him on the field with all the hamstring and quad problems he's had as a member of the Mets. But he said right now his swing is a mess, in his many words, and he thinks that the golf swing will help him keep that front shoulder from flying open, which he says is a reason for the .208 average and all the swings and misses. And another one. Julio with a crisp slider. Or maybe a cut fastball. That had a lot of late movement, and Cespedes strikes out again. 2 outs.
It was a cut fastball there on the outside corner. You can see it looking like it's going to come down the middle. Little cut on the end, goes to the outside corner, and too much for Cespedes. Nice to see him overmatch early.
So 35 strikeouts for Cespedes brings up Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera 2 doubles, 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 12th. And Cabrera from the opening bell has been the Mets' best hitter this year. He's 3rd in the league at .347.
He's a good hitter, period. Pick a month. Tough out, always has been for the Braves.
He was my teammate with the Indians in 2007. And Joe, when he came up, he didn't need any time. He was like Albies. He jumped right in and was a tough out.
And with the shift on, he pushes a bunt toward third, and the Braves will have to put that in their pocket. Smart play with 2 outs. He took what the Atlanta defense gave him, and now Jay Bruce comes up with a chance to do some 2-out damage.
Smart on his part with a guy like Jay Bruce following him. Maybe 2 outs, but a lot of damage can be inflicted with 2 outs with this club.
Jay Bruce hitting a .190, a homer, 7 RBIs. He's 1 for 8 in this series. Again, the Braves shift. And missed up and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Another thing that does, Joe, as you know, is it gets that pitcher out of the stretch right away. Most pitchers that throw 4 pitches like Julio, you want to get to them early. They're uncomfortable. They haven't quite gotten into the groove yet. So it gets that starting pitcher working from the stretch.
Weak contact. Easy inning for Julio Teheran. Mets are retired in the top of the first. Jacob deGrom goes to work next. Who is here? He will be signing autographs all weekend long, part of the Braves Alumni Sundays. Former Rookie of the Year, one of the game's great hitters, came straight to the major leagues out of college and was a big part of the early 80s Braves teams under Joe Torre that were so exciting here in Atlanta. Starting 9 looks the same except for the bottom part. Camargo, Perez, and Julio Teheran, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Brought to you by Toyota. And here's Jacob deGrom, 2-0, and making his 5th start tonight. This guy is state-of-the-art, really good. Last year, one of 15 pitchers in the major leagues to throw 200 or more innings. And he won 15 games for a injury-riddled Mets club.
You look at that strikeout to walk ratio we had up there, fantastic. His fastball is electric, very good slider, excellent competitor.
Anders had a good run at home, 8 hits in his last 5 games. And this one's pulled toward first. Adrian Gonzalez will take care of that. And Enders retired for the game's first out.
Yes, fastball 93 to 96, slider, changeup, and a curveball, and he mixes those other pitches off his fastball about equal amounts, in equal amounts.
He used to be one of my favorite pitchers, but he cut his hair.
No,
not digging it.
He is mine now.
Here's Ozzie Albies. Ozzie hit a 99.6 mile-an-hour fastball out of the ballpark versus Noah Syndergaard last night. 4 of his 6 homers have come in the first inning. And the Braves have scored 20 first inning runs this year. We take a little more of that magic here tonight, but it's 0-2.
I was talking to Mets manager Mickey Callaway before the game, and you know, this division, all of a sudden it's pretty tough. The Phillies look good, the Nats we know are good, and he was praising the Braves and talking about how dangerous they were. Not that they were just playing hot, but you see Albies struck out right there, but not that they're just playing hot, but they have a lot of talent. And Albies was at the top of that list. Albies, he said, Paul, I've never seen a guy with that kind of power, that kind of, in that size. Very, very good, and he's young and he's ready.
And we are seeing in the early weeks, Joe, the high part of the strike zone is being really, really used by starting and relief pitchers in the National League, and I'm sure in the other league as well. With all the talk about launch angle and exit velocity, that high swing and a miss strike is causing a lot of problems. And Albies was retired for DeGrom's first strikeout tonight. Right on by Freddie Freeman. It's quickly 0-2.
I will grant you that, and I will give credit to those pitchers who attempt that. But these guys are throwing 95. That pitch was 97 in the upper range of the zone. And he can pitch anywhere in the strike zone at 97. Not just upstairs, but especially upstairs.
Coming off a 12 strikeout game against the Nationals, a game he lost. That was the big comeback for New York. He scored 9 runs in the 8th inning. And DeGrom's last outing. And DeGrom was the man that provided the power for Bryce Harper. Remember the broken bat home run? Well, he hit it off Jacob DeGrom. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tried that high strike area again, but missed. 2-2.
When he first got up to the big leagues, he predominantly stayed low, down in the zone with his fastball. And as we talked about that electric slider, he has developed and learned how to hit all 4 corners, and that's when he became an elite starter.
And he just struck out Freddie Freeman, who tipped that into the glove of Jose Lobaton. The Braves are retired in order, and after 1, no score.
Pay attention when the Mets get a hit. They have introduced a new celebration this season that they call salt and pepper, and that was brought up by Todd Frazier, and it is rubbing off on people, and that is including his 4-year-old son Blake at his Little League game. So if you see this video right here, Todd told Blake, you need to be just like Daddy and do the celebration. Well, he said his son forgot, so Todd had to scream at him and say, hey, you got to be like Daddy, and then he reluctantly did it. But Chip, Joe, and Birdie, that is their new thing. They have T-shirts. It's a whole team theme that they've been doing since spring training. Salt and pepper. Practice it up there.
And grinding out at bats, the theme of that for Todd Frazier, who had a fan last year with the Yankees kind of give him a rallying cry. I think Frazier had a bad game or a bad at bat. And shall we say, a larger sized New York fan was staring at him and gave him the old thumbs down, like he performed poorly. Well, that became their rallying cry. Everybody get a hit and they just look at each other in the dugout and go thumbs down. Well, with the Yankees, Julio's sharp so far, 2 strikes, and Frazier takes away for ball 1.
You need that veteran guy in the clubhouse keeping it light. And you talked earlier yesterday about him being one of the reasons the Mets are clicking. Not just great players, but the right type of players in that clubhouse.
Fly ball to center. Frazier pulled his hands in and lifted it softly to Ender and Ciarte. There's out number 1 in the second.
It'll be interesting to see how the park plays tonight. The wind is out of the east, so it's blowing straight in from left field, and we've seen on occasions where that actually pushes the ball out to left field, where it circulates in the stadium and helps push balls into the stands in left field.
Adrian Gonzalez, a couple of homers, 11 RBIs. He hit a homer here in game 1 of the series. Braves won that one 12-4. And Gonzalez takes low, ball 2. 2-0 your count. Adrian fouls that away. Now 2 balls and a strike. Braves have a shift on. Dansby Swanson's playing almost directly behind the second base bag. Johan Camargo getting his first start at third base tonight is the lone defender on the left side of the diamond. And that's taken a little low. 3 balls and a strike. Jeremy Rehak, a rookie umpire, is the man behind the plate for Julio Teheran tonight. He's out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The pitch is rolled softly toward first. Freddie's got that, and that's the second out. Jose Lobaton will stand in. Lobaton 1 for 13 at the plate. That's an 0.77 average, and Julio's first to him. Missed downstairs. Ball 1. Two up, 2 down for Julio in the second. And that one smoked towards center. Ender got a great jump, and he makes the play to retire the side. Julio's been very economical, just 23 pitches through 2 innings and still no score. Simpson, Kelsey Winkert, Chip Carey with you. Beautiful night for baseball. Julio Teheran and Jacob deGrom locking horns in Game 3 of the series. Here in the second inning for the Braves, Nick Markakis, Preston Tucker, and Dansby Swanson are coming up. Braves went toe-to-toe with Noah Syndergaard last night. Syndergaard gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. Braves the only team he has faced more than twice in the major leagues and has not yet beaten them. A trend we hope continues the rest of this 2018 season.
Talked about the injuries to their staff. There's 2 guys that were hurt most of last year, Syndergaard and Matz. deGrom, however, was able to put in a full season, won 15 games, 15-10.
Nick Markakis leads off for the Braves in the second and takes a fastball high. 1 ball, no strikes. Nick at 289, a couple of homers. He's hit safely in his last 3 games. He has 5 hits in that stretch. And deGrom just missed, ball 2. deGrom was quite a find for the Mets. 9th round pick in 2010, the 272nd player drafted.
Well, he didn't shift to pitching full time till his junior year. So the scouts may not have been sure what he was, if he was going to be a shortstop, third baseman, because he was a pretty good hitter, or a full-time pitcher.
They figured it out, I would say.
That certainly did.
3-0 count. And Nick took a strike.
He was throwing rockets over from shortstop, put him on the mound, and that doesn't always translate to a guy getting on the mound and then all of a sudden being able to not only throw hard but pitch. And he was a natural right away. So as you said, not a lot of time for scouts to evaluate, but nice job taking him, and as you said, it's really turned out well for him.
He's 6'4", listed at 180. I think that 180 is a stretch. But long and lean.
He's rallied from a 3-0 count to fill it up for Markakis. And Nick fought it off. Well, we talked about it last night and the night before, quite frankly. If you didn't join us, shame on you. But with Madsen, Harvey, and Syndergaard and Wheeler banged up last season, that foursome started 65 games total for the Mets last year. And so a team that is built around its great starting pitching. They truly were hamstrung for Terry Collins, who finished up his last season at the helm of an injury-riddled Mets ball club. Nick Markakis, the first Atlanta runner, thanks to a leadoff walk.
Yeah, and a lot of pitches too to get that walk.
Here's Preston Tucker. Tucker's had some great luck in the first inning. And part of the Braves 20-run total in the opening inning. A lot of 3-run homers for Preston. Let's see if he can do a 2-run job here in the second. And he took a strike. Preston had a 5 RBI night here in the opening game of the series. He went 1 for 5 in game 2 yesterday. More high heat at the very top of that zone. It's 0-2. Braves have done an excellent job this year of putting the ball in play. They've struck out 149 times as a team, the second lowest total in the National League. That'll be put to the test tonight. And a little pop toward third. Frazier drifting out, makes a nice running catch near the line.
We've talked about the difference between this year and last for the Mets and the health of their starting pitching and what a difference it makes. This guy also makes a huge difference. And Paul was talking about him a minute ago and his leadership in the clubhouse. But they've had such a revolving door at third base with the injuries to David Wright every single year for the last several years. And now they don't have a guy they hope can fill the spot. They've got a veteran who knows how to play and can certainly do it.
Dansby Swanson riding a 3-game hitting streak. And takes a strike. The cool thing for Frazier is he gets to play at home. He's from Toms River, New Jersey. I'm sure he's very well aware of all that comes with being a professional athlete in New York, either for the Mets or for the Yankees. So none of that is foreign to him. No balls and a strike. And that pops away from Lobotone, but no advance.
I like him because he's two-dimensional. What I mean by that is he's lighthearted in the locker room. He jokes around. He keeps people loose, but yet he's a tremendous competitor on the field. He demands a lot of his teammates. So if you don't play the game the right way, you're going to hear from him. And that doesn't always need to come from the manager. You have to have that guy in the clubhouse that is a leader that people respect. It comes with service time. It comes with the type of player you are. And he is a great find.
1-1 pitch. Split the plate 1-2.
But if you have the guy that's angry all the time that you can't go talk to, or that isn't going to help other people, you know, then that's maybe a leader maybe on the field in a different way. But I think you need a guy that cares a lot about the team and polices all of that and is fun, lighthearted, and competes well.
And supports.
Yeah.
Nick at first with a leadoff walk. Now 1 out. And Dansby didn't get the slider. That is 3 strikeouts for DeGrom, 2 outs.
See, and that almost looked like he took something off, and it was 91. It's not a big breaking slider. That's kind of a in between a slider and a cutter. Located.
Dansby's done so much better of a job hitting sliders this year, but that's on another level. 91-mile-an-hour slider right on the outside corner. Those don't get hit.
Well, first start of the year for Johan Camargo. He's in for Ryan Flaherty, who leads the league in hitting.
That's a rarity.
Right.
Sub for him.
No pressure, Johan. Oh, by the way, go take on Jacob deGrom. That skipped up there. Even count. Excuse me. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
The Rodney Dangerfield of hitters. No respect. Hey.
He's been outstanding, has Ryan. That allowed Camargo all the time he needed to get his swing back in order at Gwinnett. Last year, Johan played 82 games, hit .299 for the Braves. It was very impressive defensively, no matter where the Braves put him. He only made 4 errors in those 82 games. Two balls, no strikes. And now 3-0. Carlos Perez, the 8th place hitter and Braves catcher, is next. And a 4-pitch walk.
Wow. Thank you.
So DeGrom issues a couple of walks. He walked only 1 national in that last game. He's only walked 6 men all year until tonight. And he's got some trouble here with 2 outs and Perez coming up.
I was bragging on his strikeout to walk ratio. I don't think he could handle that kind of pressure.
Well, it's down to 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. After an inning and 2/3. Well, the Braves making him work now. He's up to 30 pitches. See if Perez can find a hole.
It's dancing around on him a little bit.
Talking to the Mets earlier today, they believe that DeGrom is the best in the game at competing and winning without his best stuff. I won't say that he doesn't have his best stuff tonight, but location is off.
I said a couple of years ago when he was establishing himself as a solid pitcher that of all their pitchers, he's the guy I enjoyed watching pitch the most.
1 ball, 1 strike. And time called. I agree with you, Joe. One thing that makes it so enjoyable watching him pitch, there's no drama llama with Jacob deGrom. You don't have to worry about the flowing hair that Syndergaard has. You don't worry about the dark night stuff. He had the long hair because it was frankly distracting to hitters. And so was his impeccable stuff. Now back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I know that's not the reason he cut it, but it's almost like, well, now everybody's wearing long hair. I don't have to, and I'm not going to. Kind of like that.
Dare to be different. And he doesn't need a ponytail either. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 outs. Scoreless game. Home second. And up and away.
Is that a ponytail or a pop knot? Probably a pony.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball hit towards short. Reyes to a knee. And that will retire the side. deGrom issues a couple of walks, gets out of second inning trouble, and we have no score. Memories for some of our older Braves fans. Hate to say it that way, but the numbers keep piling up, and they certainly piled up for Bob Horner in his Atlanta Braves career. One of the great slugging third basemen in baseball history, and certainly Braves history. Rookie of the year, straight off the campus of Arizona State to the big leagues, and he's with us here tonight. Welcome back.
Hey, God, it's great to be here. My family grew up here. My kids were born here, so this, whether it's Fulton County, Turner Field, or here, I mean, it just great memory.
Still home.
Oh, always.
Yeah. You know, I was just thinking they were watching that video that with all the talk in modern baseball about launch angle, you may not have launch angle, but you were always in launch mode, weren't you?
Launch angle. What in the world? You know, all these stats just boggle your mind. I mean, you can hit or you can't, bottom line. And, plugging it into a computer doesn't change it.
deGrom hits one toward left. He's a good hitting pitcher, and he's retired for the first out. I got to ask you, Bob, about that magical 1982 season for the Braves. And the reason for that is 36 years ago this week, the Braves were on their 13-0 streak to start the season. In fact, the streak ended 36 years ago tomorrow.
Wow.
Time flies. So what was it like being on that team during the 13-0 streak to start the season, which is a record?
Well, you know, when I first came to the Braves, just to back it up for a second, I mean, we were so, you know, used to losing and to start off that way. And everything you did was right. It worked, you know, hit and run, it worked, bunt, it worked, you know, and you get in the middle of it, and finally, we got caught up in winning. And that was so fun, you know, and our organization had not been through that.
Right.
You know, because you can get just as entrenched in losing as you can in winning. And to see our guys and the light on their face and excitement to come to the ballpark, that, you know, really, I believe, turned this whole franchise around.
Every superstar needs a sidekick, and you and Dale Murphy were as devastating a power combo in the middle of that lineup in 1982 as anybody in baseball. What was it like playing with Dale Murphy, hitting with him in that lineup?
Dale's a fantastic man, and I'll never forget when Joe Torre took over, he called me in, we went and had lunch, and he said, you know, Bob, I want you to hit behind Dale, and no argument. You're hitting behind Dale. And I kind of said, you know, wait a minute here now. And he said, well, you know why. And I said, hey, if it's going to make this team better and we're going to win, I'll hit wherever you want me to hit. And so, and Murph, what a great man. I mean, I cannot say enough about him and what he's accomplished and what he's done. And I knock on wood, he makes it to Hall.
I'm with you on that. What did it mean for you to be named a captain on that team by Joe Torre?
It was almost surreal because, you know, here's a guy coming into the organization with no previous, you know, history with, and he just came in and said, you're my captain. I want you to lead. I want you to, and I said, you know, I lead, I don't talk a lot, I lead by example, and I tried to do that. You know, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I tried to lead that way.
Well, I have to say, growing up in the 70s and 80s, I was a huge fan because we had WGN and TBS, so you knew the Cubs, you knew the Braves, and I was so much of a fan. I had the same hairstyle as you and tried to hit bombs.
That's frightening.
4 home runs in a game. Bob Horner is sitting next to me in the booth.
Frightening.
I got to shake your hand. Huge fan. There I am on the left with my blonde mullet, hanging out. Some wings. Those were called wings. That was covering the ears right there. I'm getting ready to throw a puffer fish fastball away. And there you are on the follow through going deep. How about that?
You look way too much like me.
I'm telling you.
Way too much like me.
Everybody loved Murph. I loved Bob Horner.
In those days,
I'm going to go home. I'm going to have trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
You didn't know your biggest fan was sitting in the booth next to you.
Go to college, from college to the big leagues.
Scared to death.
I was just going to ask you, who kind of took you under their wing to kind of show you the
Nobody.
ropes? No?
Nobody. I mean, you know, Gary Matthews, Sarge, we all know him as, you know, just said, hey, just do what I do. You know, and I did. And, you know, you try to hold yourself and you know, live the life and whatever, and just conduct yourself the way a professional athlete should. And Gary Matthews and Jerry Royster, 2 dear friends, showed me the ropes. Because, you know, I'm telling you, I mean, I can remember coming out of college and I didn't have a suit.
Really?
I mean, you know, and Gary came up and said, hey, you can spend some of that bonus money and buy a suit, for God's sake, you know.
Well, you didn't hit like you were a guy that was scared to death in your first big league game. I want to get your memories of that as Julio gets set for a 3-2 pitch instead of pickoff.
Ooh.
Your first big league game, do you remember who you faced?
Bert Blyleven.
Do you remember what you did with Bert Blyleven in your first big league game?
I kept thinking like a rookie would, you're going to get a fastball, you know. Going to get a fastball, never threw me one. Breaking ball. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, is this...
A base hit by Conforto to right. Reyes had to hold up. And the Mets have runners at first and third with one man out. Reyes, by the way, his first hit of the year. And got the inning started with one out. Beg your pardon.
You better go back to the batting school. First hit of the year?
Yeah. He was 0 for 20.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So did you wind up getting a hit off of him?
Well, a brick fell on my head and said, you're not getting a fastball. And he threw a breaking ball, first pitch, and third at bat, and hit a home run.
All right.
Way to go. Now, Cespedes has been struggling, so he's going to go back and play some golf to try to get his swing right. I know you are an avid golfer. Did you play a lot when you were?
Never. You know, as an everyday player, you play when you can, but I went and sat in a hot tub and, you know what I mean, and let the body heal.
Recovered.
You know, I mean, the thought, you know, pitchers, you know, travel with their golf bags and their gear, and you know, there's an argument that pitchers aren't really athletes.
We've had that.
Tom Glavine is having a heart attack right now. I heard you say that.
Tommy, he's a good Fred, Ed, and Maddox, and those guys, fantastic. I mean,
but it would be hard to do that as an everyday guy, everyday player.
Oh,
find time to play
could.
golf.
You could. Yeah, I mean, you're hurting everywhere, and so you just lay down and die for a while.
No balls, 2 strikes to Cespedes. A strikeout would be nice here. Cespedes has struck out 35 times already. First and third, one out for him.
35 times?
Well, they don't matter, right? That's the new age way of thinking. Strikeouts don't matter.
My dad, God rest his soul, would be rolling over in his grave if I struck out 35 times, and it's not, you know, May yet.
Right.
I don't get it. Somebody's going to have to explain it to me, because I don't get it.
There may be a reckoning on that. For the
I mean,
that
it's like, okay, if you hit 40 home runs, 45 home runs, and you strike out 200 times, it's acceptable.
There's number 36. And the spot where all the Mets needed was a fly ball. He can't make contact.
Ground ball, somebody's going to make a mistake. You never know. I mean, you know, you can't worry about it when you're sitting on a bench.
There's that good slider Joe was talking about before the game. Part of his keys. Julio's improved. He's doing 2 different kinds of breaking balls. And, you know, in this park, it's a hitter's park. So it's important to just stay down in the zone and get people to chase. And Julio did that on that pitch.
I'll be interested to know who the guy is for you that stands out. I'll make this real quick here. Who threw the hardest that you ever saw?
J.R. Richard.
J.R. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. No question, huh? Yeah.
6'9", every ounce of him.
Yeah.
And no one was right behind him.
Yeah, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, the speed of the pitch never really bothered me, because, you know, my simple mind, I was just looking for a spot in a zone, and I was zoned in. So how or hard they threw made no difference to me. I mean, I'm looking for a pitch in a spot, throw it there.
Bang.
That's right.
You hope, right?
You hope. You gotta, you gotta hit it.
No balls and a strike for Asdrubal Cabrera. And a swing and a miss. I want to ask you quickly, Bob, what are you doing these days? What's keeping you busy?
I've got 5 grandkids under the age of 5. that keep me running and love every minute of it. Shout out to my sons, Tyler and Trent, and their wives, Haley and Whitney. Just the light of my life, and playing as much golf as I can.
That's great. Sounds wonderful.
Well, you look great, and it's so great to see you back here in Atlanta. Everybody remembers the 14 straight division championships, and hopefully nobody will forget the amazing 1982, 83, 84 run for the Braves with Joe Torre, with Bob Horner and Dale Murphy a huge part of that. As the pitch is hit high in the air and well foul and out of play. We'll do it again. 0-2 with Asdrubal Cabrera. Thankfully, we have 2 outs, so I can't ask you any stories about my dad on the road.
Oh, we don't have enough time.
It's a family show, too.
We don't have enough time. Not even close.
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say on air, so I'll stay away from
I got one story about your dad.
Does it have something to do with Montreal and getting locked out of a room?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
And they didn't make towels big enough.
I'll let your imagination run wild.
They did not.
Well, he had done in his defense, he had done a Hawks Chicago game, basketball in Chicago.
Right.
And he had flown to
Montreal.
Right. And it was catching the Braves up in Montreal. And I'm sleeping in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear a boom, 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 boom. And I'm thinking I'm dreaming. Well, no, I'm not. Boom, 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 boom. And I look through the little eye hole, and there's his dad. And I'm thinking, he didn't have any clothes on. What the hell am I going to do? So I opened the door, and he goes, "What the hell?" I said, "What are you doing?" He said, he locked me out of it. He had, his hotel configuration was different.
Backwards,
and he thought he was going into the restroom.
Yep.
And he went out in the hallway, and the door clicked behind him. So now I got this naked man in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I think we better call it off right there.
I'm so glad there were some foul balls there. That was very worth it.
Thanks, Bob.
I can elaborate, but you really don't want that.
Julio Teheran leads off inning number 3 against Jacob deGrom. Boy, Julio made some great pitches to get Cespedes and Cabrera and keep the game scoreless. He struck out 3. DeGrom has struck out 3. Let's see if Julio can help himself here. So great to see Bob Horner, who had a wonderful career with the Braves. It's so sad in a way that his injuries piled up while wearing an Atlanta uniform.
And they were injuries that certainly curtailed his numbers, you know, wrist and hand injuries that seemed to be constant.
When you look at the guys that swing the bat today in the game, first the 1-2 pitch. Those highlights we showed as Julio strikes out for the first out. Is there a guy in the game now that has a short, quick, powerful stroke like Bob Horner? I mean, his hands must have moved maybe 6 inches to generate all that.
Yeah, there might be a couple of guys, but they don't strike you the way when you see his swing on the highlight of those 4 home runs that day. How smooth and easy all those swings were for a big guy.
Right. And Joe, you played college ball, so did you, Paul. First Ender digs in. Could you imagine being 20 years old, stepping off a college campus and going right to the major leagues and doing that?
That's why I asked him what I did, because I went from college to AAA, and there were guys there that took me under their wing, and they knew that all of a sudden I'm not playing with young men, I'm playing with grown men. I mean, guys in their mid-30s, and I'm 21 years old. So to go from the campus to the big leagues, that's an even different story.
Little tapper. DeGrom is going to field that ball in fair ground and somehow make the play to first. What a gorgeous effort by DeGrom. Wow. I thought he was going to make a big mistake on that play.
Me too.
But he somehow made the play to first. Gonzalez helped him out by catching it in foul ground, and Ender's the second out.
Watch as he stays moving because he can't stop. As a pitcher, you're taught to stop, set your feet. He doesn't have time to do that. He has to become an infielder, catching it and throwing it on the run, all in one motion. Excellent play.
Great play too by Gonzalez to shift and give him a target.
Albies swings at the first pitch, and Reyes drifts out into shallow left. Cespedes calls him off, and DeGrom has a very quick inning. And after Julio had to labor in the third, he's right back to work with the middle of the order coming up, and still no score. On the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv and get all the details. No hits for Atlanta through 3. The Mets have stranded 3 versus Julio Teheran, who's back to work with Bruce, Frazier, and Gonzalez here in the New York 4th.
Great job by Julio to pitch out of that in the third inning.
That's taken a little low. 1 ball, no strikes.
With the shift on, he pretends to bunt. Jay Bruce, a power hitter. Great story about him. Dad's a plumber, mom's a school teacher. Martha, she made the choice that he would be a full-time baseball player when she refused to sign the consent forms as a young man for him to play football, fear an injury. Good job, Mom.
So not allowed to play football in Beaumont, Texas. That couldn't have been an easy decision.
No. Headed to Tulane, but he was a 12th pick in the first round, 2005 with the Reds.
And boy, did he make a splash when he got to the big leagues. He had about 2 or 3 weeks where he was a homer almost every night, 2 or 3 hits a night.
Bruce Almighty, they called him, if memory serves. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bruce got to the big leagues for the first time in 2008. His big league debut, May 27th, he went 3 for 3. 15 hits and 3 homers in his first week in the big leagues. The first of his major league homers came against the Braves and Manny Acosta on May 31st. It was a walk-off homer. And then when Ken Griffey Jr. was traded to the White Sox, he started 49 games in right field for the future Hall of Famer. And on his second stint with New York, and he'll have a seat. Julio's changing speeds well again. He has discovered the magic. And it's his 4th strikeout, 3rd hitter in a row to swing and miss.
I was just thinking that might have been a walk-off homer for Manny Acosta, too. Good pitch, Paul.
The backdoor slider to Jay Bruce. Julio's done a nice job tonight, hitting all 4 corners of the zone, mixing his pitches. And let's face it, that's the kind of pitcher he is. He has to be able to throw all of his pitches for strikes and mix it up. And I think that's when he goes to that next level.
Well, let me ask you from a pitching standpoint. The Braves acquired Anibal Sanchez to fill the 5th spot in rotation. How big an influence do you see on Julio by Anibal with this newfound repertoire that Tehran's featured?
Sure, the cutter. Yeah, so Anibal has been great. And this talks about it's not just the best players, it's the right players that makes the best team. So when he's in the dugout talking to Julio and he can do that and he's teaching him the cutter, which he has been, which we saw early in the game. Now he's got a sinker, one that goes this way. He's got a straight fastball, and then he's got a ball that cuts. Well, that's 3 different pitches. You throw that to different quadrants. Now the hitter has to factor that in. That's just on a fastball. So when he throws 2 different kinds of breaking balls, and then he has a changeup, it's really hard for a hitter to go up there and guess. Now you're in reaction mode. Versus a pitcher that you can say he's going to throw a curveball or he's a fastball, so I'm going to be right half the time. And if you have a fastball going 2 different directions, I'm thinking, Joe, you wouldn't be too excited about being in the box.
No, unless I was able to get a 3-1 count.
Which Frazier just had and couldn't do anything with it.
And it was a fastball, but he hit a ground ball with it. So again, back to your point about movement and some good sinking action.
That was the pitch that took Greg Maddux to the next level when he was in Chicago, and Dick Pohl taught him that, and he just said he wasn't getting outs like he wanted to, and he said, that's it. I don't care if it hurts my arm. Teach me the cutter. And when he did that, now he had a sinker, a changeup that went away from the left-hander, and then he could come in with the cutter, go in different directions, and that's when he took off.
A strike to Adrian Gonzalez, who bounced out his first time up. Right to Freddie Freeman. First homer for Gonzalez was a grand slam off Tanner Roark. As a New York Met, 10 other Mets have done that. That being first homer as a Met, a grand slam, including his teammate Jose Reyes. Julio's ahead of him. No balls, 2 strikes. And just missed the inside corner. Now 1-2 your count.
Yeah, be careful when you ask me a question, Chip. I can talk for a while.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Shift on again for Gonzalez. And he lifts one toward left. A line drive that Tucker's going to catch, and Julio has a 1-2-3 4. He'll turn things over to Freddie Freeman. Markakis and Tucker to follow. Great duel working in Atlanta again. Teheran versus DeGrom, and no score. With his mom and dad sitting right behind Derek Schiller and Mike Plant, Braves presidents of corporate development. And we're enjoying a great pitching matchup tonight.
It's a lot like his dad sitting there.
Freddie Freeman struck out his first time up. He's seen a steady diet of fastballs on the inner half in this series, and that stands to reason. Mets starters have them, and they want to make sure that that wrist for Freeman is in play. But he's 3 for his last 17. 0-2.
Upstairs, upstairs, upstairs.
That's one way to counter launch angle. The pitch is tomahawked toward the Braves dugout, and out of play. It's still 0-2.
It's a lot easier if you've got something that's not 100% in your hands or wrist. A lot easier just to drop the barrel of the bat down on a low pitch than it is to try to level off on a high one.
The Mets have the mini shift on. Just a little bit of a shift there on the infield, outfield playing straight up. As you can see, most teams will have a much greater shift on Freeman. And what's interesting about that is Freddie's whole approach is to hit a line drive over the shortstop.
Strike 3 inside corner. No argument from Freeman. DeGrom with a pitcher's pitch has his 5th strikeout.
Two-seamer, backed it up.
Five in a row set down by DeGrom. Look at his splits. First time, second time, third time through the lineup. Well, he is a guy that, like most pitchers, gets a little tired and has a little more trouble in the latter stages of the ball game. Teams are hitting 143 against him the first time through the order, 167 the second time, and 257 the third. The numbers we had. No balls and a strike. And a line drive into center. That'll be playable for Conforto, who's got it, and there's the second out. Not much hard contact off DeGrom yet. 6 up, 6 down for Tucker. Beautiful night. Pitching dominant so far in game 3 of the series. Game 4 is coming your way tomorrow. Quick turnaround. Zach Wheeler for the Mets, Mike Foltynewicz for the Braves. A high fly ball to right. Did he get enough? He did not. At the edge of the track, Bruce has just enough room, and that retires the side. Bottom part of the order for New York and a scoreless 5th. Innings. The Mets have the game's only 3 hits. And here in the top of the 5th inning, it's Lobaton, DeGrom, and Reyes as you look in live from our Xfinity cam at a packed house for game 3 between the Braves and Mets here at SunTrust Park. .59 pitches for Tehran through 4. Lobaton lined out to center his lone trip. Julio set down 5 straight and delivers a strike.
That's what I'm talking about, him working different quadrants. First pitch was a changeup, down and away, knee high on the black. Comes up with the cutter, second pitch, up and in. So when you start throwing different pitches to different quadrants, it's hard to sit on one particular pitch.
His turnaround the last 2 games plus this start has been really good to see. Pitching like his old self.
That's fouled away.
I think when you do that and you pitch that way, if you have that option, and you know, if you throw 98 and have a devastating slider, then throw 98 and do that. But if you don't, and you have 4 or 5 different pitches that you mix in, I think it's easier to get guys out the 3rd and the 4th time through the lineup because you can give them so many different looks.
Well, you don't want to walk Lobaton, not with DeGrom, the pitcher, waiting on deck. He can swing the bat. He could also lay down a bunt in a scoreless game. It's a big pitch in a scoreless game right here. 3-2. And he lost him. So Lobaton does walk. First one of those for Tehran. He has to go back to the stretch for the first time since the 3rd inning. Now let's see how Mickey Callaway plays it with A good hitting pitcher in the box. DeGrom is a lifetime 193 hitter. As Joe and Paul were talking, this guy was a shortstop, third baseman in college. Went to Stetson. Line down the left field line, just foul. That was close.
Key number 2, the pitcher. That was close. This guy can swing it.
You see DeGrom with that elbow pad on his right arm. I think that's always tough when you hit the opposite way you throw, so that pitching arm is exposed. Randy Johnson was like that. Hit right-handed through left-handed, and I threw a fastball in one time and he stared me down. Pretty scary.
I'll bet. 1 ball, 1 strike. Glenn Sherlock with the signs. DeGrom ahead in the count, 2-1. There's a good pitch. Jose Reyes is on deck. A leadoff walk to Lobaton starts the New York 5th. Struck him out. DeGrom wondering how he missed it. He swung right through it, and Julio has his 5th. 1 away.
I'm kind of wondering the same thing. Looked like he was right on it.
Well, Reyes, the happiest man in the Mets lineup. He snapped an 0 for 20, which was the longest hitless streak to start a season by a Met since 1968, when Phil Linz began 0 for 25. One ball, no strikes.
There's that cutter again inside to the lefties. It looks like it's going to be a strike. You want to throw a ball that looks like a strike, or strike that looks like a ball, so it looks like it's coming down and in nitro zone to the lefty. It cuts at the last minute. The key to it again is late movement, allowing for that swing and miss.
For a veteran player like Reyes, getting that base hit, getting that piano off his back for that offer, it's already out of his head. He's ready to go 3 for 4 tonight.
Jose Reyes has 2,096 hits in his career. A lifetime 286 average. In his early days in New York, was one of the most electrifying players in the game. In 2007, he had 78 stolen bases, 12 homers, 12 triples. He played every game but 2.
Also got a batting title, doesn't he?
Yes, in 2011 he had 337 in 126 games. Four-time All-Star. And he's got another hit. So Reyes has come to life in Atlanta. Lobaton's chased to second with a single, and 2 are on with 1 out, and Michael Conforto.
Like I said, he has no recollection of an 0 for 20.
It's a straight fastball in, not the cutter on this one. Reyes with a nice swing on it.
So Julio has some heavy lifting to do here. The Mets had 2 on with 1 out in the 3rd. Same situation here in the 5th. Still scoreless. And a flinch, but no call. 1 ball, no strikes to Conforto. His 3rd inning single allowed Michael to reach base for the 15th game he has played. And it was his first hit of the series.
Those are 2 pitches. One at the bottom of the zone, one on the inside corner that just missed, and Conforto didn't offer. And Julio didn't get the call on either one.
Same situation happened to Julio in his last start with Joe West behind the plate. He was frustrated at 2 or 3 close calls that went the hitter's way in that ball game.
He did a nice job rebounding from that and pitching his game regardless of what Joe West did. That was nice. Braves have the shift on right now with Dansby to the right side of second base. Camargo staying put at third base, guarding against the steal. So our Fox truck doing a great job. How about the graphics we're throwing at you right there? So many shifts in the game now, Joe.
It's rare that we see a hitter that's not shifted on. Man, he's just missing.
So now you got an issue. It's 3 balls and a strike. Cespedes is on deck.
Got to make a good pitch here. Could actually make a good pitch here down and get a ground ball, get out of the inning.
Right back to the mound. Julio to second, 1 on to first, 2, and a fist pump to boot. It is a new and improved Julio Teheran, and he's going toe-to-toe with Jacob deGrom tonight. Mets fail to score in the 5th, still no score. Many pleasant surprises this year. I think the offensive output of Dansby Swanson certainly has to qualify. He entered action tonight with a .342 batting average. He's got a 3-game hitting streak working tonight, and he is our Yellowwood brand bringing the lumber feature here in Game 3.
and among the league leaders in hits too. So he's been consistent. Last 14 games, 9 extra base hits mixed in there.
Albies, Swanson, and Asdrubal Cabrera all started the night, tied for first in hits with 26. Cabrera's bunt single in the first put him on top of the pile here in the middle innings in Atlanta. And now DeGrom to work. He's not allowed a hit yet. So enough of that. No balls, 2 strikes. He's issued 2 walks, and since ball 4 to Johan Camargo, he's retired 7 straight. DeGrom got the call that Tehran's not getting.
He sure did. That was not a strike a minute ago.
Fastball outside corner off the plate, 3 or 4 inches. You see the glove come right back over. Nice frame job, but it is a ball.
That was presented beautifully by Lobaton. He stole a strike and got the out. 6 strikeouts for DeGrom. Here's Camargo, the last Braves hitter to reach. DeGrom is good enough. He doesn't need any extra help.
He went 7 1/3 against Washington his last time out. Only gave up 3 runs, walked 1, struck out 12 in 7 1/3.
See that black and orange patch on the right uniform sleeve of the Mets. Explain what that is in a moment. 1-1 pitch is line foul. Mets lost one of their great ambassadors, Rusty Staub, who passed away after illness at the age of 73 on March 29th. 23-year big league career. Rusty Staub had over 2,700 major league hits. And what a nice man. A swing and miss by Camargo. That's 7 for DeGrom.
That looked like another one of those backdoor sliders. It was kind of a reactionary swing. And it's not breaking that much.
Little cutter on the outside part of the plate, 91 miles an hour. You just see him getting right on the side of the ball. No twist, no torque, just an off-centered fastball, giving that late action, late cut. You mentioned Rusty Staub. I mentioned you yesterday being a good teammate. I broke in the big leagues in '95 with the New York Mets. And Rusty Staub would get on the buses, and there's nothing like just some of those guys just getting to talk and telling you what you did well and what you could do better, and always appreciated Rusty. Guys that aren't afraid to share.
Yeah, very philanthropic in the New York area too, for the widows and children of police officers and firemen lost in the line of duty.
He's a big man.
1 ball, 1 strike. Didn't realize this, but Rusty Staub is the only player in Major League history to have 500 hits with 4 different teams. Mets, Tigers, Astros, and Expos. And his number 10, the first ever number retired by the Montreal organization. They called him the Grand Orange.
Speaking of big, my first day with the New York Mets, I walked in the clubhouse. I saw Brett Saberhagen. I knew he threw 98 miles an hour. And then Bobby Bonilla came over, and I shook his hand, and my hand disappeared. And I thought, I don't know if I can play up here.
Full count from DeGrom for Carlos Perez, the Braves catcher. He bounced into a force play to end the 2nd inning. It was the last Braves offensive threat. It was their only offensive threat, as DeGrom is pitching 4 2/3 no-hit innings to this point. Whereas at the very least would love to reach to bring Julio up and clear him in this 5th inning.
if you go back to last night's game, the one the Mets won in 12 innings, their bullpen really shut Atlanta down too. They pitched a total of 6 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. So 6 + 4 is 10 innings, just 1-hit ball for the Braves against the Mets, dating back to last night in the middle of the game.
Line drive, and that takes care of the no-hitter.
Well, I just had to talk about it, you know.
Right.
Way to go.
So Tehran will hit here in the 5th inning.
Two-seamer that he tried to throw did not sink. Left it down the middle, and a nice job of hitting, shooting it the other way. Let's get that pitcher cleared and possibly get a hit.
Perez likes to take the ball to right field.
First pitch swing by Julio, and Asdrubal Cabrera at second will gather that in. And that takes care of the Braves in the 5th inning. The no-hitter is gone, but both pitchers have a shutout brewing. Great game tonight. Glad you're with us.
Sports set here in the Battery Atlanta. I'm Rebecca Capel, and it's time now for our T-Mobile Built for Baseball. Yankees hosting the Blue Jays this afternoon. Let's skip to the bottom of the 3rd. No score, not for long. Aaron Judge gets the party going, smashing this one deep to left. It is fair. It's a 2-run shot, his 5th home run of the season. Yankees go on to beat the Blue Jays 9-1. Chip, Joe, and Paul.
Okay, Rebecca, thanks. Great to have you alongside tonight. Toronto now 13-7. Somehow, some way, everybody in the AL East trying to keep pace with the Boston Red Sox, who've only won 17 of their first 19 games. Remember, they lost opening day, if memory serves. They are rolling. Toronto, the closest team to them. The Yankees started play 7.5 back. Here tonight, Braves and Mets, Game 3. No score after 5 terrific innings by Tehran and DeGrom. Cespedes, a couple of strikeouts, leads off, and something off speed has him taking strike 1. Lifted right side. That's a long run for Markakis. Full speed ahead. Can't get there, and it's foul. The wind pushed that into foul ground, and that's a big break. Cespedes would have been at second base at the least. 0-2.
The harder Nick ran, the more he ran, the more it was pushed away from him.
He's made some really nice plays this year. The catch up against the wall for the foul ball. He's made some excellent assists.
Yeah.
A former pitcher, drafted twice as a pitcher. And the third time he was drafted, they said, we want you as a hitter in that first round. So you can do a little bit of everything.
Need some seeds after that long run.
Got to get the salt back up so you don't pull a hammy.
Yeah.
On ball, 2 strikes, bases empty for Cespedes. And Julio just blew it right on by. Cespedes, another strikeout. He has struck out 8 times in this series now.
And that's right down the middle. His angle is well below it. He's not really foul tipping anything.
Timing is off as Drupal Cabrera coming to the plate. Again, I said my teammate in 2007. This is a great story. He got his baseball passion from his mom as he hits into the shift. I got to tell this because it's so good, but from ages of 5 to 10, his mom would take him out and teach him to play baseball, and he would cry every time she was away from her. So she had to coach the teams. So this is back in Venezuela, so now she lives down the street from him in New York. He's got a wife and 3 kids, great family, but you want to talk about somebody that loves his mom? That guy right there. Credits her with passion for baseball, coaching him at a young age, and
that's great.
Yeah, very likable.
We are seeing major league hitters used to seeing 95, 96 mile an hour fastballs miss Julio's 90, 91 stuff by quite a bit.
Taking big swings. Everybody's trying to put a run on the board with one swing.
Jay Bruce, 2 outs. Now he's down to his last strike.
You know, I think of Aaron Nola with the Phillies, and when the scout said he'll never be a #1 because of his stuff. But we've just seen this time and time again. If you pitch and you know what you're doing, you can be a #1. Julio, when he mixes his pitches, and he's got great career numbers. Second and third year in really started to excel, and I think he can return to that, learning the cutter, adapting and mixing his pitches.
That's hit toward left. Tucker got a good jump, and Julio takes care of the Mets in order in the 6th. Right guys at the right time coming up for Atlanta. Ender Inciarte, Ozzie Albies, and Freddie Freeman will take aim at Jacob deGrom. He's lost the no-hitter. Let's see if the Braves can touch him up next. All right, Jacob deGrom's given up his hit. Let's see if he can give up a run now. 1, 2, and 3 for the Braves. Inciarte, Albies, and Freddie Freeman. Late swing fouled off the screen. Strike one. Ender is our SunTrust confidence player tonight.
He's really turned it up a notch, wouldn't you say? Since getting back home, a little warmer weather. 5-game hitting streak.
Little roller. Cabrera will charge. Backhand, can't handle it. And he is safe at first. Good start for the Braves. That'll be the second hit. When you don't strike out, you put the ball in play. You force the defense to make a play. Cabrera couldn't, and now Atlanta has a rally in a scoreless game.
I don't know if he would have come up with that if it would have made any difference.
Really about the only play he had was to barehand it.
Yep.
Let's see if Ozzie can advance Ender.
I want to make a point about Ozzie Albies and Dansby, and I probably need to apologize to Dansby because, you know, Albies is so fun to watch. The helmet comes off and he's flying, but according to StatCast sprint speed, Dansby's faster. Byron Buxton is the fastest in the league, and foot speed per second in a player's fastest the window is the way that's judged.
Runner goes. Good jump. No chance for Lobatone to pull the trigger. Ender steals his 7th base.
That was outstanding. Talking about sprint speed, we saw there from Inciarte. Great jump. Going early.
Yeah, going early in the count. I like that for Albies.
Had no chance. Albies' job now to hit the ball to the right side of the field and move him to third base with 1 out at the least.
Ender's going to try to steal third. Lobatone's throw there is late.
Frazier may have gotten spiked on that one.
He pilfers 2 pillows here in the 6th inning, and now a fly ball could put Atlanta in front.
Well, he did catch him in the shin.
Ooh, gotta be careful.
No,
there.
his knee's still on the bag.
And I think the Mets are going to take a look at this.
When his foot went over the base, didn't his leg stay in contact with the base?
We'll have to take a look.
I don't know that it did.
Todd Frazier's being checked out by the Mets trainer.
And from that angle on the scoreboard up top, it did look like he stayed on the base. We'll see.
Now right there's the question.
Yeah.
The tag is on the hip. Did Ender come off the bag? He's safe here. His thighs in contact with the base. And then
the left thigh.
That's going to be a tough one to review.
Right. And this is the one call out of replay that I really despise. The speed with which these guys are stealing bases and crashing into the bag as hard as they do, it's almost impossible, I would think, to hold the bag with that kind of velocity. And the smart defenders just keep the tag on. If in an instant he comes off like that, he's going to be called out. So the Mets challenge. They get a huge break. Ender overslides the bag. And what was a promising start to the inning now has Ender retired, 1 out, Albies up.
That hurt.
So it's a caught stealing 2-5. And now Albies with a 2-0 count. DeGrom back to the windup. And popped up toward Frazier at third base. He got spiked, but he has no trouble handling that. 2 away for Freeman.
Ender is not a head first slider. He's a foot first on every occasion. And that time just hit the bag too hard to be able to pop up. Slid right over the top of it. And again, a veteran third baseman kept his glove on him the whole time. But also paid for it.
A strike to Freddie, who has struck out twice in the game.
DeGrom staying in on Freeman, both at bats. Cutters and fastballs and breaking balls in. She'll be throwing here. It's nice to have a 90-mile-an-hour slider.
Not bad. He and Syndergaard.
Two balls, one strike.
Following it with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. So in 2002, the average fastball velocity was 88.5 miles an hour. Now it's in between 92 and 93 miles an hour. So when he's throwing a slider that's 90 miles an hour, that's very impressive.
Swing and a drive hammered toward the corner. That's going to hit off the wall. It died when it hit the fence. And Freeman slides into second with a double. And the inning continues.
I was hoping he would get something down so that he could drop the barrel on it, and I think he did. No, that was up. I beg your pardon. He tomahawked it. Good for him. Not easy to do. Jay Bruce, respecting the fact that it might hit the bricks, had to play that ball with some ricochet respect, but it hit the screen instead. Play at third looming large right now.
You bet. Let's see if Markakis can pick up Ender here with a 2-out hit. He's walked and flied out. And that's way high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Markakis does a really nice job of inside outing the baseball. So if he continues to pitch him inside, look for him to shoot the ball the other way.
We've seen teams shift on Nick. They don't here. With a runner at second base and 2 outs. Markakis with a 3-game hitting streak entering action. Had a good rip at that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves have done an excellent job this year of hitting with runners in scoring position. As a team, .322. They are 0 for 1 tonight by my count. Markakis' first chance to hit with the man at second or third in this game. 1-1 pitch. Popped up left side again. Frazier drifts back. Reyes will join him. It'll be Frazier. And the Braves are out of luck. Ender overslid the bag at third base. After review, he's called out. Freeman with a 2-out double is wasted, and we go to the 7th.
Flowers still on the DL after getting hurt on opening day. Brian Snicker did give us an update. He said tomorrow he will travel to Gwinnett and he'll meet the team. He's scheduled to catch Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Gwinnett will have an off day on Thursday. He'll catch again Friday and see where he's at. You see him warming up earlier today. He's feeling good. He's ready to get back into action. They're going to ease him into it. Monday he'll catch 4 to 5 innings and he'll move up from there, guys.
Yeah, Kelsey, I was watching him swing, I was watching him run, and everything really seemed to be on schedule, so shouldn't take him too long to get ready.
Braves Monday will be in Cincinnati to start a 4-game series with the Reds. Another long road trip coming up for Atlanta after the game tomorrow. 4 in Cincy, 3 next weekend in Philadelphia, and then we'll see the Mets Tuesday, May 1st, 2nd, and then the 3rd at Citi Field.
Seems to me the first 3 trips of the year last year were all 10-day trips.
And the second trip might as well be a 17-day trip. We come home briefly for 3 days and go right back out for a week. 2 in Tampa, 4 in Miami, and then the makeup game with the Cubs at Wrigley Field.
But it will be warmer in Miami.
We can only hope.
Yes. Todd Frazier, 2 balls and a strike. What a great game. Old-fashioned pitcher's duel. As that one sinks downstairs, ball 3. Speaking of the Phillies, they are rolling. They've beat the Pirates again 6-2 today.
Yeah, another come from behind win for them.
8-1 at home. Popped him up. That's into the shift. Who wants it? Swanson and Camargo. It'll be Johan on the warning track. And Frazier can't connect on a 3-1 pitch. That helps. 1 away. Cardinals beat the Reds again today 4-3. Second game as the manager for Jim Riggleman. That was Homer Bailey and Carlos Martinez in St. Louis. Former Brave Bud Norris has saved 5 games for the Cardinals coming into action today. It was 5 for 5. Miami leads Milwaukee 5-4 in the 6th. Cubs swinging away in Colorado, lead 2-0. That game's in the 2nd. The Cubs won 16-5 yesterday. Colorado's 2-5 at home. In the air toward left center. Ender read that well. He's on the run. He says he's got it. 2 out.
Ball's not carrying as well as I expected it to tonight. That breeze has died down a little bit.
Jose Lobaton is 0 for 1 with a walk. Sharply hit. Freeman to a knee, makes the play, and it's a 1-2-3 7th inning for Julio. This has been fun to watch. Atlanta nothing, New York nothing. It's time for the stretch. Time to join Rebecca Capel.
Thank you very much, Chip, and welcome to the stretch. We've got some big news today out of the Mets clubhouse. Pitcher Matt Harvey no longer in the starting rotation. He has been demoted to the bullpen, and as you can imagine, he's not very happy about it. Here's what Harvey had to say earlier today when he found out about the move.
On a scale of 1 to 10, obviously I'm at a 10 with being pissed off, but you know, my performance hasn't been there, and you know, I just have to do whatever I have to do to get back into the starting rotation, and that's right now go to the bullpen and you know, work on some things, get things back to where I need to be. It's a decision that they've made. I think I have to suck it up and go out there and do everything I can to get things back in gear. And I think I don't have to agree with it, but I have to go out there and do the best I can, get things going. I was hoping that those last 3 innings were kind of enough to maybe get myself one more start and let it go. But, obviously it wasn't good enough, and just got to get better and get back out there and work on the stuff and make sure I'm ready to go every day and get back into the rotation.
And welcome back into our Fox Sports Net here in the Battery Atlanta. Jeff Rancourt with us as well. On a scale from 1 to 10, he is a 10 at being ticked off about. He's not happy. All right, let's just put it that way. Was this move a surprise to you?
No, he's not happy, obviously, and you want him to be that way. He's talking to Mickey Callaway a little bit, and he said, listen, it's one of those situations, it's never comfortable. It's always going to be feelings hurt or people mad. But he said, you see 2 things here. He's either going to sink or he's going to swim. He's going to go down there and get it figured out. I think it's a decision the Mets did not want to have to make, but they knew it was on the forefront if something was to happen. He was to not pitch that way, and they've made it, and now they got to move on.
It's just, I think, so hard for people to comprehend this move because you think just a few years ago he was an all-star, but he's dealt with so many injuries since then.
No doubt, and things in this game changed so much, and all of a sudden one day, you're an all-star, the next year out of the game. But he's a competitor. I see him going down to the bullpen, getting right. Now, whether it's back with the Mets or somewhere else, he will start again. But right now, I think the Mets think, you know what, we got a chance to win this division. We need our 5 best starters.
Well, if anything, as an athlete, you've been there before. How much of a motivator is this move going to be for him to get back out there?
Well, hopefully for him, a lot. You got, like I said, you got 2 things. He's either going to sink or swim. He's going to go out there, get it done, or you know what? He's going to have to find a way to move on, go to another team. And, like I said, it's a tough deal, but it's something I think that he knew probably in the back of his mind was coming.
Well, he had a really rough night here on Thursday night. Chip, Joe, Paul, your thoughts. What say you?
Well, it's an interesting move, certainly. There's always seemingly a lot of drama with regards to Matt Harvey, especially the last couple of years. They mentioned the injuries, and to say that it was a 1-start decision that sent him to the bullpen, that's not accurate. Last night was the first time he had pitched past 5 innings in 12 starts. So this has been an ongoing problem for the New York Ball Club, not just the last couple of starts for Harvey.
Well, I'm with Jeff. If he goes down there and pouts, that's the biggest mistake he'll make, because they do have some options to come in here and fill the rotation, or they wouldn't have made this move.
Vargas goes into the rotation. He goes down to work it out, but I agree with what Jeff said. I don't want a pitcher that's happy with that. He should be frustrated. Now, what do you have to balance? You don't want to come across selfish in that locker room that it's all about you. You want to help the team win. So you can be angry, I think, but you go down, you do what you need to do. Mickey Callaway said to him when he demoted him, he said, you will start for us again before the year ends. That was a great talk.
Well, tonight there's no worry about Julio Teheran or Jacob deGrom being demoted in any way. They are pitching great. 7 shutout innings for Julio. deGrom 6 shutout innings. He stranded 4 Atlanta runners. Tucker, Swanson, and Camargo are coming up.
And you have Syndergaard, you have the dark night, and deGrom is kind of, I don't want to say behind the scenes, but he just goes about his business and is super consistent.
I think that's why I really liked him and kind of picked him out a couple of years ago. Nobody really talked about him as much as the other guys.
He doesn't need all that stuff. His body of work speaks volumes more than any cartoon character moniker that's been placed upon him by either himself or the media. This guy's an elite pitcher. And here he is throwing 94 miles an hour in a scoreless game. Going toe-to-toe with Julio Teheran on the road. He's coming up first in the 8th inning. Not a muscle is moving in that Mets bullpen. This is deGrom's game. The 2-2 pitch. Stayed high, full count.
There's had that golden opportunity slip away last inning. You never like to make the first or the last out of an inning at third base. But unfortunately, Kinder couldn't hang on to the bag on that swipe.
Swing and a miss. Tucker is down swinging. And that's the 8th strikeout for deGrom. I understand replay. I know it's the rule. I know that that's the way the game is played now. But I really wonder if that's the intent of that replay rule. Players off the bag for a microsecond, and they call him out. And right now, that's the biggest play in the game. I don't like that rule. Dansby struck out twice. And 0-1 your count.
Try to get through my story. I can't get through any story tonight, Joe, because guys are either out or on base after 2 pitches. But Dansby, I got to apologize to him. He's a great baseball player, does a lot of things well. I didn't realize he was as good as he is, meaning he's faster than Albies, according to StatCast. Guys are doing
a shot to the right side, and that approach that Dansby's been working on all year pays off. And he's got a 4-game hitting streak, and Camargo's coming up.
But it's kind of deceptive. And then I've seen him make improvements. He struggled with the slider last year. He worked on it off season, and that's a fastball away. He's turned on the fastball. We saw it the other night with Syndergaard. A lot of people hit the fastball, but the slider, righty-righty, is the toughest pitch to hit in baseball, and it's what separates people. And that's a really hard transition to go from not being able to pick up slider spin and hit sliders to, in one off season, figuring it out. His arm's a little better than I thought. He's made some really nice plays, and I really have to credit him. And I have to tell him he's faster than Albies.
That will really excite him.
Yes. A little friendly competition.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if the Braves get creative on the base paths here. There is one out. Camargo, Perez, then the pitcher's spot. Sam Freeman's pawing around on the bullpen mound. And Dansby dives back.
I think he's pawing around, getting stretched out a little bit in case Julio's spot comes up in the order here. Great night for him.
Yeah, for Julio, his last 13 innings, 9 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, and 15 strikeouts. That'll work. One ball, 1 strike for Johan Camargo. Braves starting staff, last 15 games, including tonight, they've gone 87 innings and they've given up 19 earned runs. That's an ERA right around 2. Best ERA in baseball. Pretty good. Starters. 1-1 pitch. And DeGrom wants to think it over.
Talking to Nick Green, who was down there watching Camargo in AAA off and on when he's not on Braves Live, was telling me that he is really locked in. He's come up here, had to sit for a few games because Flaherty's doing such a great job. We'll see if he's able to be on time.
And covered, fouled it straight back.
Good hack there. That's what I always liked about Bobby Cox, was if a guy got called up, he didn't sit around on the bench for a week. He got in the lineup. He got some swings. He was called up because he was probably swinging the bat real well at the time.
He would do that to relievers too in big situations. Throw him right in there. Again, appreciated.
So it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Swanson leads at first. And now 2-2. Now the Mets bullpen is beginning to get busy. 92 pitches for DeGrom. Again, he's leading off the 8th inning. Braves have something working in the 7th of a scoreless game. And off speed, strikes out Camargo. That is 9 for DeGrom. There's been no drop off in any of his pitches as far as the quality of them in this game.
That was a good sequence. Off speed, then he was right on the fastball, fouled it back, came back with another changeup.
What's nice about that changeup is it doesn't start out on the black where the hitter may give up on it. It looks like it's coming right down the middle. So instead of getting them out side to side, you're getting them out front to back. A lot more swings on the changeups that start middle and fade down away versus the ones that starts on the corner.
Here's the man that broke up the no-hit bid by DeGrom, a 2-out single by Carlos Perez. And if he hits one in the same spot here, he's got a big hole to play with on the right side.
And as Joe said earlier, he likes to hit that way, so I don't understand this shift right now.
Runner goes. Pitch is a strike. The throw to second is going to be high. And Dansby steals a base.
Good crossover step. Quick acceleration. High throw from Lobaton.
The helmet stays on.
Yeah.
But you heard me talking about the StatCast sprint speed of 29.1 feet per second. Ozzie is 29 even. But that's good enough for 17th in the league as the fastest man. That's impressive.
That popped away and still called a strike. 0-2. Can DeGrom make a mistake with 2 strikes and 2 outs?
And I was just told from Gretchen Caney in the Fox truck that on that it was 29.55 feet per second once he gets going. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Very quick.
Just did get a piece of that to stay alive.
Well, they're still giving Perez a lot of room on the right side, as Paul suggested. That may come back to burn them. But I see Jay Bruce playing very shallow in right field. If he does hit it that way, it's going to be tough for Dansby to score. Bruce has a big arm.
Well, if the inning continues, Ryan Flaherty's grabbed a bat. He's the leading hitter in the league. He would bat for Tehran here. No balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. DeGrom has another double-digit strikeout game. 12 in his last start, 10 tonight. And we go to inning number 8. Still 0-0.
Inning, and welcome back into our Fox Sports set here in the Battery Atlanta for this Xfinity game break. I'm Rebecca Capel. Cardinals hosting the Reds today. Let's skip to the good stuff. Game tied at 3-all. Yadier Molina facing Jared Hughes, and look at this, launching a solo shot. That's his 6th of the season. It would prove to be the game winner, and He got to come back out for the curtain call after something like that. Cards beat the Reds today 4-3. Chip, Joe, and Paul, back to you.
All right, Rebecca, thank you very much. The Cardinals will host the Mets after this series wraps up. And we hope the series will wrap up with the Braves winning the last 2 games. Right now, nothing's decided, except for who's pitching for Atlanta. Sam Freeman's on in relief of Julio, who went 7 shutout innings tonight and looked brilliant.
6 home runs for Molina. That's a lot for him at this stage.
So Wilmer Flores will bat for DeGrom, who is equally brilliant for the Mets. He'll finish with 7 innings of no-run ball with 10 strikeouts. And it's downstairs with Wilmer Flores. 1 ball, no strikes. Big key for the Braves right now is the bullpen cannot afford walks. That has been the one blemish to what's been an excellent start for the Braves in their first 19 games. Bullpen in April, 46 walks, 44 hits in 62 innings. That's a 145 whip. That is far too many base runners. In a scoreless game, you can't afford that. And now it's 3-0.
Right-handers against Freeman, 3 for 16 with 3 walks. Left-handers against him, 0 for 10 with 4 walks.
Late called strike. 3-1 the count.
He wants to get on any way he can, but he loves to hit. He would love this 3-1 pitch.
And he took a fastball right down the middle.
Yeah, strong.
So Sam's back in the count. Full count to Wilmer Flores. And he missed badly, ball 4. I know they're not trying to walk him, but boy, that is asking for trouble. In a scoreless game late, a leadoff walk. And now Jose Reyes bats. He's 2 for 2 after an 0 for 20 start. Let's see how the Mets play it. Flores does not run well, as we saw last night. And Reyes with a bunt deadens it beautifully. 1 play, and Albies did not get to the bag in time. So a bunt single for Reyes, and now the Braves have a real pickle.
That'll go as a base hit because Ozzie didn't get there. That's a mistake, a mental mistake that the Braves have not been making.
Crash play was on with a corners crash, first and third base. You saw Freeman coming in. No chance to get back to the bag. Ozzie late in covering.
I'm impressed that Perez didn't throw the ball.
That would have been a disaster.
So a leadoff walk and a bunt single sets it up for the Mets. 2 on, nobody out. And Michael Conforto, Yoenis Cespedes, and Asdrubal Cabrera, the next 3 scheduled hitters for New York. Braves did make a roster move. You heard about that with Rebecca on Braves Live. Gil Sokolovic was brought up from Gwinnett, and Josh Raven was designated for assignment. And more action in the Atlanta pen.
This guy's never had a sacrifice bunt in his career.
Breaking ball, a strike for Michael Conforto. No sign of a bunt from him yet. Conforto's first hit of the series was a 3rd inning single. He's 1 for 10. Again, slow runner at second base, fast runner at first. And Freeman ahead 0-2.
As a pitcher here, when guys get on and your starter's done such a good job, you can feel a lot of pressure. You can try to do too much. You can try to get 3 outs in 1 pitch. This is where you take deep breaths, you calm down, and you take it 1 pitch at a time and you execute that pitch. Freeman, nice job getting ahead early. You'll even hear some guys tell you, try to throw slower because your heart rate's going to be up. You're going to be trying to do too much. It's like you said the other night, when you swing too hard, it goes slower. So just relax, make your pitch, and calm down. That was beautiful.
That was a good pitch. And again, lefty's 0 for 10 against him.
One ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball hit toward third. Camargo's got it. Second one. Ozzie dropped it.
Better get it. Pick it up.
So instead of a double play, the Mets have him first and third with 1 out. Reyes was called out. Let's see if the Mets take a look at this.
Yeah, they may review this. I'm not sure that he had the ball.
Well, there's a runner at third base he needed to concern himself with too, and he was not able to control it.
That ball's still live. Ozzie can't just stand there and watch it roll away from him.
No.
He's got to go pick it up. So a couple of defensive lapses for Albies here. Hasn't cost the Braves yet. And another review on the play at second base. It'll either be bases loaded or first and third with 1 out.
I don't know if he had it in his hand. The replays I've seen, the glove kind of hides it.
Well, the original call was out, so again, is there enough evidence to call Reyes safe on this play? Depends on the angle, I suppose. And we await the decision from New York.
It's a big call in this game, just like the one on Inciarte.
He's safe. So Ozzie didn't have enough control, and now the bases are loaded for Cespedes. And Brian Snitker is going to have to go get Sam Freeman. It's a fielder's choice. Reyes second on the error by Albies. And the proverbial leadoff walk in the late innings of a tight game has put the Braves in a big 8th inning pickle. Cespedes is coming up. We'll tell you who's pitching to him right after this.
Is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Back in Atlanta, the Braves have a mess on their hands. As we like to say, managers and sports writers hate leaky pens. A leadoff walk got it started. A bunt single by Reyes after Albies didn't cover the bag. Then he dropped a throw from Camargo on what would have been a chance for a double play. Now Shane Carl is on to face Cespedes, who struck out 3 times. And he swings the first one and pops it up into shallow right. Markakis is there. Again, slow runner. Flores at third. He's going to go halfway and can't go any farther.
Well, you saw a very impressive graphic on Shane Carl. He's come into some very tough spots already. We're still in April, and he has not allowed an inherited runner to score, and still hasn't. But boy, oh boy, bases loaded, nobody out. It's about as tough as it gets.
Well, he got the first man in Cespedes. And if there is an advantage of any kind for the Braves in this situation, is that you've got Flores, the lead runner at third base. It's going to have to be a deep fly ball to bring him home. And this is the guy that might scare you the most, as Drupal Cabrera, the Mets' best hitter so far this year. And it doubled twice, once in the 8th, once in the 12th in game 2. And that just missed, ball 1.
The thing about Cabrera that's the most dangerous is that he handles the bat so well that if he wants to hit a fly ball, he can hit a fly ball. He's just going to wait for the right pitch to do it on.
One ball, no strikes. Line into right field. He's got a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Reyes around third. The throw will come back to second base. And Cabrera continues his sizzling work. He brings home the first 2 runs with a 1-out 8th inning hit. And that is much to the delight of Jacob deGrom, who's now in line to win this game.
You mentioned it, a veteran player. He does not try to do too much. That's a great pitch. Nice, easy swing.
He was fooled, but he still got good wood on it. That's what makes him so tough.
So the walk comes home. The bunt single comes home. And now Jay Bruce, the batter, with 2 on, 1 out. Mets 2, Atlanta nothing in the 8th. And he slashes that out of play. Strike 1.
Well, the mistakes the Braves made defensively, both by Albies not covering first, dropping the force out at second. Can't assume a double play, but they had a good shot at a double play if he's able to turn it. Big difference makers in this inning.
Yeah, then Cespedes' fly ball might have ended the inning.
Right.
Now a looping liner into center field. That's going to get down for a hit. Conforto around third. They're going to wave him. The ball gets away from Ender, and everybody's going to move up 90 feet. Bruce kept running, and he is called safe after Ender double clutched. It's all coming unglued for Atlanta defensively in the 8th. They're at second and third, still 1 out, and the Mets lead 3-0.
Another good pitch, but Bruce just went with it. Ender was trying to come in and throw the runner out at the plate. He got a little bit of an in-between hop. Came up off his thumb. That's what allowed Bruce to advance.
So these 3 runs that have scored belong to Sam Freeman. Cabrera and Bruce are Carl's responsibility. The infield comes in now for Todd Frazier, who's 0 for 3. And he swung late, strike 1.
Right-handed batters hitting 138 off of Carl. I like this matchup better. He too, a veteran player, knows they need a fly ball and may cut down on his swing as well.
Back
or not.
Barring a big comeback, Sam Freeman's on the line to pick up the loss. This would be the end of a 189 consecutive games appeared streak without taking a big league loss. Longest active streak in the big leagues. Peter Moylan's second on the list at 186. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Frazier flailed away. There's the second out. He's 0 for 4 and 1 for 11 in the series.
What a good breaking ball.
Nice slider outside corner.
Gonzalez will be intentionally walked. That'll load him up. And now Lobaton is the Mets hitter, the 9th man to come to the plate. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Carl's spot is due first. Inciarte, then Albies. Braves, though, will have to tangle with a Mets bullpen, which has been outstanding too. And no, Matt Harvey will not pitch out of the bullpen tonight. His first available date will be Tuesday against the Cardinals. A strike to Lobaton.
Ramos loosening up. He was outstanding in his inning of work last night.
Fly ball hit toward left. And Tucker makes a stumbling catch. Might have lost that in the LED lights. But he stayed with it to make the play, and that will retire the side. A sloppy Atlanta inning that started with a walk. 2 errors and 3 runs later, the Mets have taken the lead. Ryan Flaherty will pinch hit. Inciarte and Albies to follow, but a tough hombre, as Joe mentioned. A.J. Ramos pitching in back-to-back nights.
He came in last night in the 9th inning and got a 1-2-3 inning. Struck out 2 guys. He got Tucker looking, got Swanson swinging.
8 2/3. Walk to strikeout ratio even at 7. Maybe we'll get a walk here, get a little something started.
Or a hit. You've only got the league's leading hitter coming off your bench. That's a good sign. As Flaherty gets ready to take aim against A.J. Ramos. 3 runs, 7 hits New York. No runs, 4 hits for the Braves. 2 costly errors last inning. Help the Mets take the lead. The big Braves fans watching tonight, St. Augustine, Florida. Ryan and Brooks Cornelison hoping for a late inning comeback tonight. One ball, no strikes.
To see the 362 average leads the National League. What a great story. This is a guy that, as we know, was released at the end of spring training by the Phillies, and now he's leading the league. Fantastic. He trains in the offseason with Todd Frazier. They have the same agent. They're very good friends, so they tease each other, and Frazier will talk smack to him during the game. He goes, he doesn't say much back. He's not very good at smack talking. I said, you know, I've interviewed him a few times. I understand.
Yeah,
he's a man of few words, straight to the point, and what a great guy.
Way downstairs. Yeah, you've got this beautiful composition book with what you call the secret to baseball.
Yes.
You need to fill that up with questions for Ryan, because you can run through them all in a 2-minute interview.
And by the way, if you touch that book again,
yes, yes, the secret's on one of the pages. It's encrypted.
I did cross the line of death, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Well, how about a leadoff walk, as Paul suggested a moment ago? That would get things started for the Braves here in the 8th. And fouled back, full count.
Gabe Kapler wanted to get into my composition book, The Secret to Baseball, but I wouldn't let him.
I'm glad. I'm so glad.
You don't.
If it had been a math book, you'd be all over it, right?
There you go.
Well, the numbers adding up for the Phillies. They won again today, as we said, 6-2. The Braves will see them on the upcoming road trip next weekend. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball slicing down the left field line. Cespedes' long run won't get there. It's into the seats. And we shall do it again.
That Pirates team the Phillies are beating up on, been playing real well and swinging the bat real well.
That matchup was Aaron Nola and Stephen Brault for Pittsburgh.
I like the shift most of the time, but I don't know if there's enough info on Flaherty to start doing this early. I'd like to see him prove the shift wrong and go the other way if he gets the right pitch.
Leadoff walk. Thank you very much. Now the top of the order is coming up, and I can promise you the first two guys on this lineup card have little payback in mind. Starting with Ender Inciarte. He led off the 6th inning with an infield hit that Cabrera couldn't handle at second base. Promptly stole second, had third stolen, but overslid the bag. Frazier kept the tag on him. Ender was called out. With 2 outs, Freeman doubled off the wall in right, but the Braves were out of luck. In the early days of this season, and dating back frankly to last year, this was the time of game where the Braves offense really came to play, scoring runs in the 7th, the 8th, 9th innings against the other team's late inning pitchers. We'll see if Atlanta can put together a final 2-inning rally tonight. And Ramos isn't the same guy tonight, at least not yet. 2-0.
Well, he struggled with control in the past, so this is something they know about, as we have a mountain visit from pitching coach Dave Eiland. Going to try and calm him down, so we'll see if the Braves can make something happen here.
Well, the quickest way to help the Braves get back in this game is to continue to throw pitches wide of the plate, walk guys, and give hitters good counts to swing in. I'll be interested to see if Ender is swinging here or going to make him throw a strike.
Many times a pitching coach will come out and say, okay, establish your fastball. First pitch after a mound visit is a heater. Let's see what the Mets come up with here. It's going to be one away. 2 balls, no strikes. And he made him throw a strike. 2-1.
And that was a quick mound visit, and it goes something like, I don't know what he said, but usually it's like, hey, you have a 3-run lead. Make him hit it. It's hard to hit.
Anthony's 2-2. Ender didn't think so. So from a 3-1 count potentially to a 2-2 count. He got away with a pitch. Look at where that was located, right in the middle of the strike zone.
Yeah, that slider was up, and if it's on a 2-1 count instead of a 1-2 count, there might have been a different result.
Flaherty leads at first. Short lead. Pitch. Strike 3 inside corner. And Ender's more upset about strike 2 than strike 3. 11 Braves have gone down tonight. 10 by DeGrom. That's Ramos's first.
Fastball in, down and in to the nitro zone to the lefty. Ender looking for something else, couldn't pull the trigger. And as you say, has a word or two to say to the umpire.
Mets have struck out 23 Braves in the last 2 games. Something we have not seen often from Atlanta. There's Albies.
No, but as we talked about last night, when you face the Mets and you get Syndergaard and DeGrom back to back, it's very much the same as Scherzer and Strasburg back.
I was going to say the only 2 comparable games would be the ones we had up in Washington.
Yeah.
Way outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
The sad part is that last night the Braves had a chance to win that game a couple of times, and tonight with that runner that could have been at third base with nobody out, could have scored the first run anyway back in the 6th inning, might have been a difference maker.
Way high. You don't think Ramos would walk Albies and bring the tying run to the plate, do you?
Well, he's really struggling with his fastball.
Mickey Callaway pacing atop the Mets dugout. 3 balls, no strikes. And that's outside. And indeed, the Braves will bring the tying run to the plate. It'll be Freddie Freeman. And Ramos will not be the man that faces him. Isn't it amazing? You have 2 starters rolling along, and then how much a walk can mean in a close game late.
I'm not sure who they're bringing in. I would guess Blevins, but A.J. Ramos and Freddie was all A.J. Ramos. 0 for 9. Freddie was 0 for 9 against him.
But the A.J. Ramos we saw last night is not nearly as effective tonight at SunTrust Park. Joe, you made an interesting point a moment ago. The matchup of Freddie Freeman versus A.J. Ramos was all Ramos. The Mets are going to go lefty-lefty here with Jerry Blevins. The exact opposite is true in this pairing.
Yeah, Freddie's 9 for 18 against him, including a hit here 2 nights ago, and Blevins really had a rough night.
Gave up 4 runs in relief for New York. And he jumps on the first one, hammers it toward the gap. Cespedes on the run. one, not going to get it. It's up against the wall. 2 runs are going to score. It's a 3-2 game.
People live by the so-called book these days, matchups. And instead of going with what was on paper, they went with what they think in their head is the right one, lefty to lefty. Not so.
Usually when a lefty comes in the game and faces a lefty with guys on base, you'll get that first pitch breaking ball. Freddie looking fastball, gets the fastball down and in, drives it into the left field gap. First pitch, absolutely beautiful.
So 2 lefty bats coming up next for Atlanta. First is Nick Markakis, who's 3 for 21 against Blevins. Tonight, Nick's 0 for 2 with a walk. 3-2 game.
Got about a 90% chance of a breaking ball right here.
And some room on the left side to take it that way.
Missed inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Surprised me.
No, I think that's why you're having trouble with the pitcher and catcher on the signs. I think your pitcher was shaking, wanting to throw a fastball. Don't know if I agree with that. As a lefty specialist, when you come in against another lefty, you have to be able to throw your breaking ball for strikes. And that shocked me.
Well, Nick is a very smart hitter. He watches a lot of video. If he's had trouble against Blevins in the past, those numbers would say he has. There has probably been a consistent way in which Blevins has gotten him out. Maybe he's looking for that pitch. Maybe he's just sitting on a breaking ball, especially early in the count.
Freeman's got a good lead at second. The 1-0. Little pop toward third. That's going to stay on the field, I think. Frazier tumbles into the seats. The wind pushed it out of his reach. And it was 1 row too deep for the Todd father to make the play. What a break.
Great effort right here. Little dive at the end, just missed it.
Oh, ow. That ball bounced up, hit that gentleman with the glasses, hit him right in the face.
So Nick Markakis still alive. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's hit to the left side. We'll do it again. Now it's 1-2.
All fastballs.
Shocks me.
Me too. I'm really surprised. Probably surprised Nick too. But now Nick doesn't have any choice but to look fastball and adjust.
A.J. Ramos gave the Braves 2 walks. Atlanta's cashed them in on a Freeman double. It's a 1-run game. Almost hit him.
You have to say the Braves have done a great job of getting back in this game after DeGrom and the 3 runs. I felt a huge letdown up here, but Brian Snitker has said time and time again, this team does not say die. They never give up. They play the game the right way, and after an inning where the wind came out of the sails, they're right back in it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. There's that slow breaking ball. It gets away from Lobaton. He's going to have to throw to first, and he gets Markakis by a stride. On that pitch in front of the plate, Freeman moves up to third base. There are, however, 2 outs, and it's Preston Tucker versus Jerry Blevins now. A wild pitch puts the tying run 90 feet away.
Finally, the breaking ball.
now Mickey Callaway is coming out of the dugout. He has Juris Familia warming up. He goes to the home plate umpire, Jeremy Rehak, which leads you to believe we're going to have a double switch here. So I think Callaway's not willing to risk Blevins any further here.
Well, interesting. He's got a lefty-lefty matchup, but he's not going to go with it this time. He's going to bring in Familia, it appears, for a 4-out save. Lobatone will exit.
So Lobatone's going to come out. Blevins is going to come out. Familia is going to come in. And SunTrust Park is electric as the Braves have scored 2 8th-inning runs. We'll see how Familia versus Tucker works out after this. Because, as Joe said, instead of a lefty-lefty matchup, it's a righty-lefty matchup. But when you've got Juris Familia as your closer, you take chances lefty or righty in that opposing batter's box. Tomas Nido is on defensively in the double switch. Nido will bat 8th. That spot leads off inning number 9. And Familia, 8 for 9 in saves, has been incredibly stingy. 13 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings working, dating back to last September. Let's see if Tucker can run into one. Runner at third, 2 outs. At the knees, a strike.
New catcher, pitcher in the game. Nasty closer. Chance for a pass ball during one of these.
Absolutely.
And we've got a clutch hitter at the plate.
He got the save last night. Got a 3-up and 3-down inning in the 12th.
That'll scatter the Braves on the top step of the dugout. It's quickly 0-2.
One of the things for Preston that I've noticed is when they throw him sliders, if they throw like backdoor or something out over the plate type slider, he's able to go get it. He's not spinning on that back foot and whiffing on it. He'll get a piece of it.
Now an 0-2 pitch. And it covered. Oh boy, look at where that was located. That's the one Tucker wishes he had another look at.
Mets have done a nice job. All of their pitchers throwing the fastball in tonight. That fastball, not middle, not on the inside corner, but at 96, tough to catch up to.
No balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 inside corner, and Familia takes care of Tucker. And Freddie Freeman's left 90 feet away. Atlanta gets a couple of walks. Freeman's 2-run scoring double makes it a 1-run game going to the 9th.
in Southern California today to take on Zlatan Ibrahimovic and the LA Galaxy, the most successful franchise in Major League Soccer history. What a game it promises to be on Fox Sports Southeast. Back to you guys in Atlanta.
Looking forward to that after the Braves hopefully come back and win tonight at home against the Mets in the 9th inning. 3-2 is our score. It's Joe Simpson, Paul Bird, Chip Carey with you. And we go to the top of the 9th inning. It's Jesse Biddle's turn to pitch. Biddle was a former #1 pick of the Phillies back in 2010. Was traded to the Pirates before the 2016 season. Was injured, did not play. He was on the Atlanta disabled list all last season, coming back from his elbow surgery. Did pitch in 27 games at Mississippi, and now here he is, and hopefully he could throw strikes.
His Major League debut, first game. It's been a long road to get here.
And he just broke the bat of Tomas Nido. First pitch. And there's out number 1. So throw that baseball into the Braves dugout. You know, that's a big moment for Jesse Biddle, who's now 26 years old.
Great story. Welcome to the Baseball Encyclopedia. I love on his motion how he has a little pause before he goes home. Little stutter step, not at the end like a Rob Nin, but at the beginning. You're going to see him lift, come down, and pause. Very deceptive. You like those deceptive guys, Joe?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Not as a hitter, but his is different. It's unique.
Big night for Jose Reyes. He got his first 2 hits. Biddle's gotten 2 ground balls to the shortstop. Three hits for Reyes, I beg your pardon. He had 2 hits his first 2 at bats. And that 8th inning bunt play turned into a hit as well. So I beg your pardon. I don't want to shortchange Jose, who was 0 for 20 to start the year. He'll take all of them he can get.
Yeah, that's right. And I love how Biddle, when I shook his hand in the locker room, he was very thankful. As you guys said, a great story. You never know what's going to happen. The surgery was Tommy John, which I have had, and there's a lot of tough days. 90% of people after Tommy John at some point during the recovery process tear scar tissue and think they've done it again. So it's not an easy surgery to come back from, and nice to see guys that when they get up here are so thankful and appreciative. And right now he's saying, no, this is easy.
Well, I'm happy for him at his age, and after being a #1 pick, the expectations were very high for himself.
And right now the Mets aren't able to do much against him. Not touching anything. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's hard to hit a stutter step 95 at the letters.
One ball, 2 strikes, and that breaking ball was over the head of Conforto. Biddle had excellent numbers all the way up until the 2014 season. His ERA was consistently 3.5 or lower. He was a starting pitcher until the Braves got him and put him in the bullpen, and now here he is.
And I like what he did right there. I tell young pitchers, when I was a veteran and then coached, you know, when you make a horrible pitch or bad pitch, one halfway up the backstop or at somebody's head, maybe you meant to do it. Don't show body language that you know. So he didn't.
Oh, that was a strike for DeGrom a lot of times tonight.
Yeah, it was. A little inconsistent for Mr. Rehack. And he's sitting right there on the inside corner, too.
Perez had to snag that. That might have influenced the call. It's out of play, left side by Michael Conforto. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Swanson, Camargo, and Perez, the scheduled hitters. Then you've got the pitcher's spot. Kurt Suzuki lurking on the bench for Atlanta. And that's swept off the plate, ball 4. So Conforto earns another walk. The 3rd issued by the Braves Hensman again tonight. And it's Cespedes time, who's 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts for the Mets left fielder.
I don't know that I like that last pitch selection, 3-2 breaking ball when the fastball was beating him. When you don't want to walk somebody, the only reason I would like it better is if he was on time or if you throw your breaking ball for strikes more than your heater.
Runner goes, the throw into center field. Conforto on his way to third. It's a steal and a throwing error. So Michael Conforto with that 9th inning walk has now been issued a free pass in 7 straight games, which puts him 1 ahead of Bryce Harper for the longest such active streak.
Went on his first move, and for Perez, he really didn't get a good pitch to throw on, and I'm really surprised he cut this loose, knowing that I'm assuming he knew he'd gotten a good jump out of the corner of his eye.
So 3 errors tonight for Atlanta. 2 in the 8th, 1 here, and now that ball's crushed down the left field line. Did he keep it fair? Yes, he did. Cespedes stopped, and it's called a home run. Dan Iasonia signaled home run, and now the other umpires might join him and overrule this. Cespedes never ran, and it was Dan Iasonia that made the fair call down the line. He signaled home run immediately, and now the other umpires will meet behind the mound. We'll have to take a look. Brian Snitker is on the warning track in front of the dugout, awaiting the outcome of this conversation.
Brian didn't have to go anywhere. Pat Hoberg came over immediately from second base. That ball's foul, wasn't it?
I believe so, and the players are going to let you know. And when you see 5 players on the field run over immediately and say foul, it's a pretty easy call.
Yeah, foul ball.
And clearly foul.
Clearly.
Now Mickey Callaway wants an explanation. The umpires can go to replay and check it out, but apparently there'll be no need to do that.
Well, I think Cespedes pretty much knew too, because he had not even gotten a third of the way down the first baseline.
So it's a long, loud strike. No harm, no foul. 1-1 count. Cespedes 0 for 4. Runner at third base, 2 down. Chopper hit to the left side. It stayed down. Dansby got it. Throw to first in time. And welcome to the show, Jesse Biddle, a scoreless 9th inning in his debut. Last chance for Atlanta. What a start for Julio Teheran tonight against the Mets. He was so good. 7 innings of 4-hit shutout ball. Freddie Freeman continues to torment Jerry Blevins. For the
Braves got a couple of walks from A.J. Ramos. Freeman doubled home 2 to make it a 3-2 game, and now the Braves down a run have 3 outs left against Juris Familia here in game 3.
Let's get some base runners and see what happens.
Let's see what happens to Familia, who got the final out in the 8th inning with Freeman at third base. He just sat through the 9th. Maybe he cooled off. See if there's any drop off in his stuff. Swanson, Camargo, Perez, then we'll see. For Atlanta, 3-2 game. Not close, 2-0.
I know it's not a big deal, but this isn't a clean 9th for him. He came in that 8th inning, had to exert himself a little bit, and not everybody can do that. So I like what you said, to see if his stuff drops off.
He's missed with 3 in a row.
Ron Washington giving him the take sign. Not that they needed to do that, but 100% not swinging here.
And he didn't need to. It wasn't close. A 4-pitch walk puts the tying run at first for Atlanta with nobody out. And now Ron Washington takes a few steps down the third base line. Johan Camargo, the hitter, 0 for 2 with a walk. His first start tonight for Atlanta at third base.
On that 3-0 count, though, usually the third base coach in this situation is going to be yelling from his position, take. There's no need for any signs.
He's missed with 5 straight. Now Nito goes to the mound. Familia does not look comfortable all of a sudden.
No, he's throwing sinkers away into the right-handers, away to the left-handers, and he's starting it out on the inside part of the plate to the right-hander.
Yeah.
And when it runs at 95 miles an hour, the hitter's not going to go after it, and it's not going to be called a strike. He needs to start that in the middle or on the third. And so as a catcher, that meeting may be, do you want me to set up middle and have it run to the corner? But you got to figure out a way to throw a strike.
And you got to hope that if you throw it to the middle, it does move.
Correct.
1 ball, no strikes. Swanson at first, big hole right side, and they chase him back.
Ender with the most steals on the team, but Swanson, as we talked about, is sneaky quick and may try to take a base.
And already has 1 tonight.
As we saw last night, though, you run at your own peril against Nito, who's got an excellent arm.
Sure does.
He threw out Albies last night. He threw out Flaherty last night trying to steal a base.
I'll be very surprised if he's running, representing the tying run.
Sinker in right here.
Margo made him throw a strike.
They may be just throwing over, trying to find out if Camargo really isn't going to bunt. He hasn't shown any sign that he's going to square around.
One ball, 1 strike. And the biggest crowd of the year at SunTrust is booing lustily as Familia keeps throwing to first. 41,396 here tonight.
And they're into it. I mean, yesterday when Suzuki made the play at home, it felt like a playoff crowd. More of that again here tonight. I love the tomahawk chop. The Atlanta fans are into it.
Downstairs. It's interesting that Mickey Callaway went to A.J. Ramos. You got to figure Lugo might be unavailable. He went 2 last night. Gesellman went 2 last night. Now this game in the hands of his closer, who gives up a rope up the middle, a base hit. Dansby on his way to third. That ball's going to get to the wall. The Braves have tied it. Camargo around second, on his way to third. Winning run 90 feet away.
Well, this is outstanding. Catcher setting up down the middle. The last 3 pitches, Camargo driving it up the middle. I don't know how the ground ball got to the outfield and made it to the wall, but it did. Camargo throwing off the helmet like his buddy Albies, and we've got a triple.
How about a ground ball that Cabrera dove for at second base, and it went all the way to the gap and into the wall. Conforto and Bruce were kind of looking at each other like, not that they miscommunicated, but it was like they were really shocked that one of them wasn't there to cut it off.
And that was the key to the play to get Swanson home. And Camargo into third very easily. And now Kurt Suzuki, who can hit anybody's fastball, will hit with the winning run 90 feet away and nobody out. The Braves have scored 3 runs thanks to 3 walks by the Mets bullpen in the 8th and now the 9th. Infield comes in, outfield comes in, and listen to this crowd. Line drive caught or off the glove of Frazier. He had it, it popped out, and he saved the game by keeping that ball on the infield. Holy smokes.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, wow, what a play. You almost never see a man get a hit and not drive in a runner from third, and Frazier somehow did it.
And how about Kurt Suzuki coming off the bench, fastball down and away, and he pulls it. Ready to play.
My goodness, what an effort by Frazier to keep the game alive.
So now Charlie Culberson will be announced as the pinch hitter. He'll hit for Biddle. Not to put the cart before the horse, but Biddle is in line to win this game in his debut if the Braves can push across this run in the 9th.
Wouldn't that be a good storybook? Familia's given up his first run of the year. He's given up his first blown save of the year.
So a pinch hit single for Suzuki brings up Culberson. Again, a fly ball of decent depth could win it. And that's in the dirt. And that's where creeping in, charging it actually, in case Culberson thought about a bunt. He's 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter. In fact, on the current 25-man roster, Suzuki's hit is the only pinch hit this group has this year. Remember, Lane Adams was designated for assignment earlier in the homestand. Braves have tied it. 1 ball, no strikes. Right there for an even count.
Familia is not the same guy that came in the 8th. It goes without saying.
No.
It's his stuff is not the same. The ball is not moving the same when he has to come in and throw a strike.
A lot of angles for Culberson to play with. 1 ball, 1 strike. He laid off the slider.
Keep in mind here that Camargo on a ground ball does not have to run. Runners are at first and third. They're not playing for a double play. They're playing in to cut off the runner at the plate. If he hits a ground ball and it doesn't go through, then they're only going to get one out. And you don't want it to be Camargo at the plate.
You have Ender and Ciarte in the on-deck circle. You know, he'd like a chance to atone for being thrown out in the 6th inning at third base. The 2-1. Charlie couldn't check his swing. It's now 2-2. That was a nasty pitch.
Charlie hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Had a couple of starts. That's about it. This would be a wonderful place for him to put his mark on the board as an Atlanta Brave.
2 balls, 2 strikes. It's not to be. Familia struck him out. And now the double play is back in order for New York. But first they've got to deal with Ender.
Huge out. Good sinker. Infield is now halfway. You know, if they get a sharp ground ball, they might try to get a double play because Ender's tough to double up. But if he hits it slow, they'll come home.
First and third pitch. He bunts. Gonzalez throws late. Braves win. Comeback for Atlanta. The Mets batted around in the 8th, scored 3 times. The Braves with a couple of errors, handful of walks, got 3 walks themselves in the final 2 innings, scored them all, and Joe, a bunt single by Ender ends the game.
I guarantee he did it on his own too, and he didn't leave too early. He wasn't bunting for a hit. He was trying to get the runner in because there's only 1 out. He waited patiently. Pitch was away from him, and he still was able to pull it to a perfect spot to get the run in. Beautiful.
So the Braves have won 2 of the first 3 games against the first-place Mets in this series. A chance to leave town tomorrow. A game out of first if they can knock off the Mets behind Mike Foltynewicz. A redeemer for Ender and Ciarte, who's standing by with Kelsey.
Thank you, Ender. Your 2nd career walk-off in true Ender and Ciarte fashion, showing off your speed there, laying down the bunt. Take me through that at bat there.
You know, to be honest, I was going to swing the bat, but when I walked in there, I knew Camargo was ready. That I always tell Wash to tell him to be ready, and I saw the second baseman, first baseman a little deep, and I said I'm going to lay one down. It ended up working. Camargo made a great slide, and we ended up winning this great ball game.
Now, tell me about your young guys here. You have Dansby Swanson leads off with the walk. Johan Camargo comes through with that RBI triple to lead you up there. What about the young guys, what they're doing?
Camargo is a great player. I love Camargo. He's always hustling, playing to win, and Dansby is being Dansby. You know, that's the same player we saw the first year he came up, and he's just having fun, and we enjoy watching him play every day. He likes to win, he plays to win, and we're lucky to have him on our team.
Biddle making his major league debut tonight. He gets a win in his debut. For him to come in there, get those 3 ground outs, how much fun is that for you to watch a guy make his debut do that?
It's really fun, especially from a guy like that. He's a great guy. He works hard, and you know, he looked on the mound like he had a lot of confidence. So we got the win for him, and I mean, it's just a great win for everybody right now.
And your ace tonight, Julio Teheran. I mean, phenomenal. 7 innings from you guys, a huge pitcher's duel. Your ace really looked good.
Yeah, Julio looked great. I mean, I enjoy watching him pitch every day. I mean, he gave us a great game today. I mean, DeGrom, I mean, he was throwing the ball well all over the plate, and we couldn't score against him, but Julio kept us in the game the whole game, and it was a tough game, but we got the win.
Well, Ender, I know you take a lot of pride in what you do, and I know you're feeling really good right now. Congratulations on the walk-off. Go enjoy it with your teammates.
Thank you.
So our thanks to Ender Inciarte. A bunt single drives home Johan Camargo, and the Braves shock the New York Mets with 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th innings. A game that was dominated by both starting pitchers. Julio Teheran and Jacob deGrom combined for 14 innings, 8 hits, and 16 strikeouts, and only 3 walks. The bullpens walked a whole bunch of people, and every walk but one came home to score. What a game. 4-3 Atlanta the win. Braves try for the series win here tomorrow afternoon. Behind Mike Foltynewicz, he'll face Zach Taylor. Big crowd tonight, fellas. They were entertained, so were we. Can't wait to get back at it tomorrow as we wrap up the homestand. A chance to go 5-2 on.
Great night. Great night. What a way to cap it off.
Excellent team win. This is my first 3-man booth. Thank you, guys. I drive home charged up.
And we will see you tomorrow for Game 4 of the series. Braves Live presented by Xfinity's coming up next.